So, welcome back to Folk in the Front Room. My name's Mary English, and today we have a special guest called Jim Dawson, who is now living in Norfolk. But I know him from when I ran the Barnet Folk Club in London. So, hello, Jim. Thank you very much for doing your songs today. So, tell me a little bit about your musical history. What was the first instrument that you ever owned?
Hi, Mary. First instrument I ever owned, proper instrument, was an old acoustic guitar. It wasn't actually old at the time, it was new until it fell out of a car and broke. But that was an old guitar, and I just sat and used to sit in the garden and learn how to play Beatles songs on it and Marty Robbins songs about 1962.
And then who
Brilliant.
taught
Actually
you?
loved it, but it died.
Okay, but who taught you to play guitar? How did you find out how to actually do it?
Well, I just listened to the song, work out a bass note, what sounded, whatever sounded right, then add the rest of the strings to it until it sounded right, and just played it. And eventually I found out that they were called chords. I had no idea what they were called. I just played them and they worked. And that was literally how I learned.
Wow, so you learned by ear, basically, yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Fabulous. Okay. And then so you eventually got an electric guitar. So how old would you have been then?
Oh, I must have been just started to yeah, I must have been about 16 when my dad got me an electric guitar, but it wasn't what I would call an electric guitar because it's semi-acoustic. And, Hank Marvin had a solid one. And so did the Beatles, all had solid ones. And I thought, no, I mean, it works all right. It was a great guitar. And I wish I still had it. It was lovely. But being young and foolish, I wanted a solid one. So my dad got me a solid one eventually. Actually, for the first guitar, the Hofner Jumbo that he got me, the semi-acoustic, he actually swapped his prized projector and got me the guitar with it. I thought that was so cool of him. Because he was always saying, "Oh, it's not, rock and roll. What's all this stuff about?" But he loved Elvis anyway. But and yeah, that was it basically. He helped me get my instruments in the first place, and it's always been a great support ever since. Really, him and my mum.
That's nice to have it when parents are supportive. So you moved to Southern Rhodesia in 1957 when you were 5. What was that like for you?
Brilliant. It was like going from black and white into Technicolor. It was absolutely awesome. Yeah, because we had animals walking through the garden all the time, lions and leopards on the hill behind us, and African music wherever you went, which was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. And I suppose that's an influence on what I do as well. But no, wouldn't have changed that for the world. Absolutely loved living out there. And it was great because we had friends, black and white, and we all got on really well. Because one of my best friends at the time was called Zaka. And he lived in a little village down at the bottom of where we had our piece of land. He had his little thatched hut down there with his family. And he used to go and sit down there and eat peanuts with them and things like that. And so I remember them sitting around the pot when they were cooking their dinner, and they had this goat. And this poor thing's lying on his side next to them. And he's just sitting there sawing away at this poor thing's neck with a blunt penknife. And that was going to be their dinner. I thought, no, I really don't want to watch this. So I went home. But you'd have loved it, Mary. Sunshine, and when it rained, it was warm rain.
Yeah, well, we don't get warm rain here.
No. Actually, I'll tell you what, also, the thing about living out there is we used to get both the American records and the English records. Because in England, you just pretty much get the English records. America, you just get the American. We were lucky. We had the combination of both of them. So you get all this stuff that you would never hear in either England or America.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were getting both thoughts at the same time. Absolutely fantastic. So I'd get things by, I don't know, all sorts of people like Count 5. Nothing in England, huge in America. And vice versa with bands over here.
Mm-hmm.
So not a bad upbringing.
Excellent. And so you've had You've been in a lot of bands. So you've been in a band called Berserk. I'm only going to mention a few because we'll put them in your bio. And you were in another one called, what was it? I just saw that one there, Anvil. And then when you came back to the UK, so how old were you when you came back to the UK?
Good question. I think I must have been about 27, 26 or 27,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. No, maybe not even that, actually. It must have been about 25, thinking of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 21, 22 when I came out of the army. Then I did a bug, got out quick before someone shot me. So that's 21. Actually, no, it must have been about 23, thinking of it. Even younger still. Yeah, 23, 24. Yeah. Came back over
Cool.
because I'd actually been promised a place in a band over here by one of my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got over here and he said, "Oh, no, we don't need a guitarist. Why have you come and asked?" So he asked me to. And it all went rapidly downhill from there. But I still had my Fender Jag, so I didn't care.
And you said that a lot of your influences, Beatles, Stones, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Steppenwolf and Led Zeppelin. So you've done lots of covers for those particular bands. And then you started writing your own songs. So what was it that inspired you to write your own? And did you do that right from the beginning or later on?
Strange, I did actually write songs when I was about, I must have been about 14, I think, when I first wrote one. And it just, I don't know, I just sort of wrote it and it came out. It was called The Wonderful Moop. Which sort of goes with the era that I was living through at the time, mid-60s.
Mm-hmm.
So it must have been about 1966, 67 I wrote it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I just wrote them sometimes. I never thought much about writing them. So I thought everyone else has written them. You've got Bob Dylan and the Beatles. Who needs to write anything? They've done it all.
Mm-hmm.
But it just sort of happened, just to evolved. Mainly when I started coming to your club as well, I started writing a lot more. But I'd already got stuff that I'd written at home and put down on tape that Angie had heard, but no one else had heard. So I did it at your place. Sorry about that.
No, they were great songs. And then you teamed up with quite a bunch of people. So Brian Jenkin and Lucy Shawn and Rick Christian. So you were in lots of different sort of setups with people. And so from then on,
Yeah.
after going to the club, you did quite a lot musically. And it was your wife, Angie. Hello, Angie, that brought you to the pub and the club to start with. So that was quite a buzz, really, wasn't it? When that club was going, there was a lot of people that came to it. I mean, I look back very fondly to those years because obviously I was a lot younger than I was, but it was great because it was everybody gave space to everybody else. There was no egos
That's it.
involved. It's just really nice
No,
sharing of music. Yeah,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause the clubs that we had were great. You know, if it hadn't been for the clubs, we'd probably still be stuck in an office.
God forbid.
I'd completely lost confidence. Yeah, and doing solo stuff as well is terrifying. Because all those years I'd been used to having a band behind me. All of a sudden, all you've got is an acoustic guitar, and you think, "Oh dear, where are we going to stick the drum solo?"
Yes, that's true. It is very, very
No, good
different.
experience.
It is very, very different being a solo singer songwriter because, as you say, it's just you, the guitar, and everybody listening. But you have the confidence for that, so yeah, you don't have to worry about that now. And then you've done music
Eventually,
and then you've done music in hospitals. Tell us a little bit about that,
yeah,
Jim.
brilliant music in hospitals. That's the highlight, I think. Apart from Nocturnal Creatures, my first band, music in hospitals was the best thing I ever did because it meant something. You know, you're playing in hospitals and care homes, hospices, even jails. We even did what's that big one called? A high security one. We did several high security prisons. But it's where they can't get to a gig, you take the gig to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how the music actually it cures people. It's like a healing thing. Because there's many things I've told Angie about as when I've come home. She's been blown away by it. I brought Lou and me, our friend Lou Osborne, we were playing, we brought a bloke out of a coma. And
Wow.
blew my mind. I thought, hang on, this guy's been in a coma, and he came out. Me and Lou were saying, "Oh, we're not that bad, are we?" To try and get out and walking, which was quite cruel but funny. But no, and another old lady came walking right there across the hall after we'd finished playing. She said, "Oh, that was absolutely marvelous, brilliant, loved every minute." And she says, "Oh, here's my walking frame." And she'd walk the full length of a hall without a walking frame, and you'd see things like that, and you'd think, this is why we're playing music.
Mm.
All the other time, I'm sitting there playing rock music and that, which is great. I love it. I still do it.
Mm.
But it's not why we should be playing music. I don't think. I think we should be playing it as a healing thing, because it actually heals just you as a person when you're playing it. Because with my arthritis, I could be playing a gig and my arthritis would go. It's just getting to the gig when you had arthritis to do it in the first place. But it would actually clear up once you're actually playing. You'd leave all your problems out there.
Yes, that's the nice thing
Absolutely
when you're
marvelous.
playing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
the problems can be to one side. That's
yeah.
excellent. Thank you. And so just to finish, you also play electric acoustic, 6-string, 12-string, bass, harmonica, mandolin, sitar, and auto harp. It's like, okay. So
Well,
out of all of your instruments, which one's top? Which one do you really like playing the most?
it's a cross. It's a toss up between my Fender Jag
Hmm.
and my little Fuji acoustic that I've been using for the same amount of time, 50 odd years, because they get worn into the right shape of your fingers. They really do. After all these years, I've still got them. Love them. Wouldn't part with them for anything. And my bass guitar that Angie bought me, so I wouldn't ever part with that.
Hmm. So
But no, probably my Fender Jag. Yeah.
thank you very much, Jim. So it's been lovely speaking with you today. Hope you have a nice time with your trip to the USA. Thank you very much for the 3 songs that you've shared with us. And if anybody wants to get in contact, if they get in contact with me, I can pass details on to you. So it's been lovely speaking with you today. We'll catch you soon.
Oh, and you. Great.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Mary. As usual, thanks for everything you've done over the years for us. We really appreciate it all.